All right, so this is going to be a video how to use the fancy preheaters we have. We have two of them. They're both set up the same. Hoses are a little bit different. Got Jim Friel on the camera, so thanks for that. A little shout out to you and Tom Lamptey who went and picked up your plane. So good choice by Tom, leaving it there in Millville. Got it fixed, it's on the line. 4960 Romeo is good to go. Anyway, roll right into the heater. I'll explain the parts here. So obviously you have this heat hose, and it's got some metal parts and a metal case inside of here. So when it is running and when you're done, it's going to be very hot. So I recommend either using gloves or use the heat protected shield to handle it. When you're done, it can kind of sit in here underneath the handle like it was, and that's how you can kind of transport it there. So aside from the hose, we'll go down here. We got the regulator. This big knob, you don't have to turn, and you're not going to because it's set by a bolt, so don't worry about that. We got a battery up here, two connections, positive and a ground. With the regulator, you have two switches over here. You can get a good picture of that. This is the button that I'm going to hold, and then over here is our igniter. You got to push it until it snaps to light it off. All the way down here hidden is a little silver switch. When we turn it on, that's what runs the fan. So we'll go ahead and do that. Up here on the top, battery. So we'll hook that up first thing before we even turn the gas on. You got a positive lead, good connection, and the negative ground side connected. So now we come down here. All this is on the directions. Easy to follow, tells you everything about it. First things first, we want to make sure we got some air blowing. So we can go ahead and turn that on. It's working. Turn it off, get our hose ready. So we're putting the hose in, and with the P model, Jim brought up a good point. Most of them have a Tannis heater on them. I think both of ours do now. 50 Echo is the N model. It's not going to have a Tannis heater, so you're going to have to apply the same principle that we're going to apply here. With this, we want to shoot the air down. So again, we'll put it back in here. Force downwards, so we're blowing air down into the oil pan. If you have to use a bungee to keep it up there, great, use a bungee. Anyway, that's set up, so we'll go down here and we'll start with the gas. Take that back. We want to turn the fan on because I turned it off. This little silver switch, turn it on, you hear the air blow. Great. Let's turn the gas on. Gas is on now, so we charge the line up to the regulator. Now over here, we have the button on the regulator that I'm talking about earlier. So you hear the gas going and the igniter. Now you can hear the flame burning, but it's important that we continue to hold this button to give it a good flow of gas, so that way it can establish the fire inside here. It may take 20 seconds, it may take 2 minutes, you just gotta hold it. So I can already feel the heat coming off of the heat shroud there. If you let go of it, you lose the fire. So it's hot enough, you already know that it's hot enough just because I went off it for a second and fired right back up without hitting the igniter. So we're getting there. Oh. And wait. There it is. So self-contained, burning on its own. We got the fan running. That's the most critical part of this entire thing, is that fan right there continues to run and blow the heat. If not, you're going to burn up this whole heat shroud and it makes a mess. So a couple of our safety things to cover. We want to make sure we connect the battery before we turn the gas on, right? So we don't have a big cloud of gas here, light it off with a spark. So get the air going. Got it going, we turn the gas on. We light the gas off. Now we just make sure that it continues to blow the entire time. Aside from that, we need to make sure that we don't leave it unattended. So we haven't, luckily, knock on wood, we haven't had any accidents out here yet. But I found heaters unattended and things start to happen where we melt this handle, as you can see. Another thing that comes from is when we take the heating hose out, like I said, this metal part is very hot, so we don't want to sit it back on this handle because it just melts it. Other than that, that's all we got for you, so hope you learned something. before I forget here, we're gonna shut it down. I'll show you how to shut it down, start to finish. First thing, we just start from the bottom and work our way backwards. So we're gonna shut the gas off down at the cylinder. Again, we're not touching anything up here. We're not turning the blower off. We're just shutting the cylinder off. All right, so it's off and sealed, and you'll hear it blow itself out here in a minute because it's burning all the propane. There it goes. So we can leave that fan blow. It's still blowing hot air because that whole shroud is still hot. So if you want to leave it blowing for a second, that's fine. And now that it's good, we can turn it off. Now we don't want to run the battery dead, so we'll disconnect it. And we got our handy dandy little battery carrier here, so you can connect it right there, and you're good. Again, we go back up here. Don't want to touch the metal part because it's hot. The hose itself is pretty hot. And we'll just stick it right down in here. Like so. And that's it.